Ever had that gut feeling you're meant for more than your current job? That whisper of potential going untapped? Welcome to the Inkling Effect, where we transform career intuition into purposeful action. I'm Binny Langler. I'm a certified career, strengths and executive coach. And you'll gain access to the same powerful coaching techniques, expert knowledge and practical guidance that thousands of my clients have used when standing at their own professional crossroads. In each episode, I'm going to unpack the steps and the speed bumps of career transitions, offering practical strategies to navigate the messy middle. You know, that space between acknowledging you need change and making it happen, and boy, can it get messy. Each Inkling Effect episode will also draw on my first-hand experience. I've navigated 2 successful career changes of my own. I'll share personal insights, the lessons I've learned, and proven strategies from my own path towards that something more that I was seeking in my career. Like me, you probably don't know what that new path is yet, but don't worry, I'll guide you towards the clarity that you're seeking. Whether you're contemplating a bold and big professional pivot or just seeking deeper satisfaction in your current role, this podcast provides the inspiration, the tools, and the actionable advice to transform possibility into reality. Now, if you know someone that is constantly telling you that they are unhappy at work, then do them a favour and share this podcast with them. Let me be the one to help them get unstuck. And if you gain one useful insight from this episode, the best way to let me know is to hit subscribe or follow. It's really great feedback for me, and also it ensures that you don't miss my next episode. All right, let's dive in. Hello there, and welcome to episode 2, Disengaged or AI Ready. The choice is yours. So, are you one of those 79% of disengaged workers globally? Right now, you may not be able to answer this. However, the stats tell me there's a high percentage chance that you are. I've experienced disengagement. I would not wish it on anyone. And what I do know is that it snuck up on me, and I didn't know what I was feeling at the time. So in today's episode, I want to help you work out if you are disengaged at work and what might be causing this. And we'll dive into some of the factors that contribute, so that'll help you diagnose, I guess, for want of a better term, whether you are feeling disengagement or not. And what I also want to do, and this is the really important part, is I want to help you navigate yourself out of disengagement. I also want to prepare you for what's ahead, because we stand right now at the edge of a new era of work. And we're probably all really sick of hearing that when people refer to AI and automation and all the changes that are coming. But we can't bury our heads in the sand. With so much change ahead, it's likely that a future increase in disengagement could also be one of the byproducts of this massive change. And you're probably wondering, with disengagement at 79% globally, how much more of an increase can we have? Otherwise, the entire workplace will be disengaged. And it's a really good question. But it doesn't have to be this way for everybody. I want to arm you with some tools to build your resilience as we stand on the edge of seismic changes in the workplace. So let's start with disengagement. Let's talk about that first. So Gallup has been surveying how engaged employees are since 2009, and they are also who I'm certified with as a strengths coach, and they developed the strengths assessment that I use that was a result of 50 years of interviews and research. It's quite a phenomenal assessment. So every year they interview around 160,000 workers from all across the globe and representing all different levels within an organisation and types of workplaces. So they've interviewed in total around 2.2 million people in the time they've been measuring engagement. These stats are according to Gallup's 2025 State of the Global Workplace Report, and they do this every year. If 79% of workers are disengaged, that's a real concern. And over half of these employees are either watching for or actively seeking a new job. That accounts for a lot of unhappy workers. So this is exactly why I wanted to cover this topic. Having been in that place of disengagement and felt what it feels like, and realising that there's a huge number of you out there that are also feeling that, I think it's really, really relevant for so many of you. And like I said, I've been one of these statistics, but I've also found my way out of it. So I want to talk about that too today. My mission is to help you believe that it is possible to seek and find happiness, fulfillment, and meaning at work. I had to learn to adapt to a huge amount of change around me, which resulted in disengagement at work. I chose to leave this workplace, which brings me to what I'm doing now. However, there is the option to stay and proactively work your way back to engagement. Both are really viable options. Today, I hope to help you understand what disengagement looks and feels like, and if it might be happening for you, one of your colleagues at work, or within the team that you lead. And this might be a great podcast to share with someone if you feel that they may be heading down the path of disengagement or there already. And most importantly, I want to share some steps you might like to take to navigate your way out. So let's dive into disengagement and work towards improving those stats, one person at a time. So in order to understand disengagement, let's start with engagement. It's the involvement and enthusiasm of employees in both their work and their workplace. So your feelings of engagement or enthusiasm about your work is a direct response to your experience at work. So a little side note here, we've talked about the 79% of people that are disengaged. I also want to flip that and talk about the 21% of workers globally that report being engaged at work. So if this is about how they're feeling at work and that they're feeling enthusiastic and involved, only 21% of people are feeling that, according to Gallup's 2025 report. And I also want to focus on managers, just in this little side note. If you are a manager, engagement fell from 30 to 27%. And then if we break that down further, there are actually two types of managers that were particularly affected in this study, 2025. Young managers, so under 35, where manager engagement fell by 5 percentage points. And then we've got female managers where their engagement dropped by 7 percentage points. If you're a maths geek, thinking, hang on, that doesn't all add up. If the global engagement was 21%, and these are all quite high stats. However, the individual contributor engagement, so someone that's not a leader or a manager that is working within a team and contributes as an individual, the engagement of the individual contributor remained flat at 18%. So it was 18% the previous year as well. What is going on right now? These are really concerning stats. So going back to the 79% globally who are disengaged, what is causing this? So when the average person, they say, spends around 90,000 hours at work over their lifetime, if they're working full time, that's about a third of your life. So wouldn't you want to be feeling engaged and thriving at work when you're giving that amount of your life away to your workplace and the work that you do? So this is exactly what prompted my second career change. And I went searching for true engagement with my work. And it took me a long time to work out what was going to give me that. And that's why it took me around 10 years to actually get there. But the really important thing that helped me was understanding the factors that contributed to my disengagement, because it helped me understand what I needed to do and what was missing in my life that was causing the disengagement. So I had to really dissect it. And I needed to focus then in those areas, and then that would help to steer me towards the action that I had to take, navigating me away from disengagement. So going back to when I was disengaged, it can feel like a really big black hole, and it's kind of all-encompassing. You don't know why you're feeling this way, and you're not sure what action to take. So what results is that you feel very stuck and with absolutely no clarity about what to do next. And I find that so many of my clients come to me feeling this way, and they don't actually realize that it's disengagement that they're feeling. So I hope that this might help some of you be able to diagnose what's going on for you. So let's run through some of the signs of disengagement, because this will help you recognize if any of these are happening for you right now. So let's explore these signs and find out for you. So number one is lack of meaningful connections, safety and trust within your workplace. So when team relationships are really weak or toxic, you might start to feel isolated or unsupported at work. And there's very little psychological safety to share your ideas or to admit your mistakes. And what that does is it leads to a culture of blame and defensiveness. So you might be thinking things like, oh, I'm on my own here, or I'm not sure that I can trust anyone with my real thoughts. Number 2 is disconnection from company purpose or mission. So this is where you can't really articulate how your company's mission or purpose links to your job. And you might have joined the company because you loved what they stood for, but you're not quite sure how your job links to that or is actually contributing to that. And that's important for you to feel that if values and purpose is important. And you're not really sure how the work that you're working on is actually contributing to supporting the mission. You experience a sense of emptiness or meaninglessness at work, questioning, what's the point? Or you might feel like you're just going through the motions with work becoming purely transactional. I felt this. It kind of was a feeling of detachment where I wasn't passionate or really connected to the work that I was doing. Number 3 is you're misaligned to your role. So when you feel this way, you rarely get to do what you do best every day at work. And what that means is you're not utilising your innate talents, the things that you do really well. You might even be working more in your lesser talents, which are things that don't come as easily for you. And this can become a feeling of hard work or exhausting. And it just takes a lot of effort for you to do what's required for your role. And as a result, you don't find flow and you have these limited moments of feeling energized at work. So in essence, this is not the best fit role for you because it doesn't align to who you are and your strengths. Number 4 is unclear expectations for your role. So when you started in the organisation, you might have thought, I'm not really 100% sure of where my role begins or where mine ends or what I own or what I'm responsible for. And sometimes that never becomes clearer as you get into months or years within that role. So you're not really certain around what's truly expected of you in your role. But beyond the basic job duties, you might start to feel a little bit of anxiety about whether you're meeting the expectations or what your boss is thinking you should be doing because it's not clearly defined for you. And so you start to second guess decisions or you feel like you're walking on eggshells and never quite sure if you're succeeding or failing. Number 5 is lack of recognition and feedback and feeling somewhat invisible because you're not being told whether you're doing a great job or you're not getting any feedback. So it leads to also feeling undervalued. So you may complete really significant projects only to have your work go completely unnoticed and unacknowledged. And the silence can feel a little bit like indifference from your manager or senior leaders. And with that absence of feedback, you're left guessing about your performance and you're wondering if you're meeting expectations or wasting your time and focusing on the wrong things. Number 6 is limited development opportunities. So when growth opportunities are scarce in your role or the organisation, you can feel stuck and stagnant. So you might be doing the same tasks day after day and no chance to learn new skills or advance your career. So your job might feel really monotonous and you may feel like you're wasting your potential or maybe you're falling behind in your field. You could have finished uni with a whole lot of friends. They're working somewhere else and advancing and getting all these opportunities to learn and go to courses and you're not. So you might feel like you're not growing here or this is a dead-end job while you're seeing other people advance in other organisations. You may become a little bit frustrated and then start looking elsewhere or just mentally check out and do the bare minimum. And all of these things don't feel great. And it's not like there's something wrong with you. It's just the response of how you feel when all of this is happening around you. So I wonder, how many of these signs of disengagement could you relate to? Do you think you're one of the 79% globally that's disengaged at work? If you were nodding, as I was describing these signs, there is a chance that you may well be disengaged. It might just be the early stages, or you could have been entrenched in this feeling for a long time and finally it's all making sense what's going on. For those of you who could completely relate to those signs of disengagement, I see you. It feels really real and can also feel very foreign. You may have turned into someone in the workplace that you don't recognise anymore, a person you've never imagined yourself to be. I'm action-orientated. I'm an executor. You can come to me, I will get things done. I'm reliable, dependable, I meet my deadlines. When I was disengaged, I struggled to start anything. And the procrastination, oh my goodness, I was the master of that. I got so frustrated that I couldn't understand what had happened to me. Why was I not enthusiastic? Why was I not excited? Why was I not connected to my work and wanting to do things? It's all completely normal reactions to feeling disengaged. So if you are struggling with the way this might make you feel, please seek support. Tell friends and family around you. Use your employee assistance program if one's offered for you at work, or go and see your GP and work out a plan forward. Call the many helplines available that's in your local area. As my mum used to say to me, a problem shared is a problem halved, and I can absolutely vouch for that in my experience. You do not need to experience this alone. I just wanted to acknowledge that and spend some time there. So I want to shift gears a little bit now. Let's look at what you can do to increase your engagement at work. What action can you take to find that joyous feeling of engagement and connection to your work and team again? And trust me, it is completely possible. This is not a one-way street. It's not a dead end. So I'm going to take a little sidestep here before we dive into action steps. And I want to just dive into some of the reasons why disengagement is increasing in the workplace. So we'd all remember the last 5 years. I don't think anyone escaped what happened in the world in these last 5 years. And according to research by Gallup, the typical organisation has experienced disruption at every level. So we had post-pandemic retirements and turnover. We had hiring booms, especially at the beginning of COVID, and then complete busts. We had rapidly restructured teams and departments. I know I went through 2 restructures being announced in a year and a half within the organisation I was working for. Shrinking budgets and stimulus programs ended, which just had work evaporate. So it meant a lot of changes within organisations and focuses of roles. There were disrupted supply chains. I mean, there was a time there where you could not get a brand new car. There was just no shipments coming in during that COVID time. New customer expectations, which have demands on organisations and departments to meet those needs. And let's not forget, and this is probably one of the most significant, digital transformation, automation, and AI tools. And we'll touch on that again in a moment. And then you've got the big one, new employee desires regarding flexibility and remote work. And one of the things about that, as much as everybody would want to keep that, it also erodes our connection, team building and trust, which is also one of the factors that can lead to disengagement. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. So all of these factors have negatively impacted engagement at work. And many of them were huge changes in our organisations, roles, work location, the list goes on. And these are some of the factors that have seen disengagement on the rise. So work futurist Andrea Clark, who's also the author of Adapt, Mastering Change in 4 Steps, captures this period of time perfectly in her book, which I happen to be reading at the moment and absolutely loving and can highly recommend. She says we need a new relationship with change. After the global pause in 2020, we returned to a faster, looser and less structured world with more uncertainty, fewer boundaries and profound developments in artificial intelligence. Now I'm going to touch on that a little bit more later, but let's get real here. This disruption and change is only going to ramp up in the coming years. Right now, we stand at the edge of a new era of work. Just last night, I was listening to a podcast discussion by Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO, and it was titled, "In 24 months, these jobs won't exist." We are on the edge of huge changes, and it's one where engagement is falling at the exact time that artificial intelligence is transforming every industry in its path. So few employees have harnessed AI's full potential. Its rapid advance will force every organisation and employee to adapt, whether you like it or not. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to prepare you. Plan your way out of your current disengagement if that's the way you're feeling about your job. It needs a plan that is future-proof. We'll need to think differently to the approach that I took 6 years ago to manage my way out of disengagement. So you currently have an opportunity to redesign your role to work that best fits you, and also ride the wave of the role redefinition that's going to be happening anyway, everywhere, to accommodate AI. So use this time and this opportunity to your advantage. You're going to need to be smart, you're going to need to be strategic, and more than anything else, you're going to need to be proactive in your response to this. So I wanted to talk about Andrea Clark's book, Adapt, again. So as I said before, Andrea is a work futurist. So she's looking at trends and where things are heading in the workplace. And she wants to help people to make sense of change and build future-ready mindsets. So she argues that what we need is a new relationship with change itself. So rather than focusing solely on AI tools and technology, she emphasises the importance of transforming talent and developing our adaptability quotient, also known as AQ. She believes this, your adaptability quotient, is the superpower of our times. So what is adaptability quotient? Many of you would have heard of IQ, which is measuring intelligence, and then there's also EQ, which is emotional intelligence. So your adaptability quotient is for measuring and developing a person's ability to adapt to change and uncertainty. And the concept was initially developed by Ross Thornley. So developing your AQ builds resilience, problem-solving capabilities, and a growth mindset, which is empowering you to thrive in changing environments. Now, doesn't that sound like the perfect place to focus yourself right now? Adaptability has been identified as a crucial skill for the future of work. So I'm going to come back. I'm reeling myself back in now from my side tangent. I just wanted to throw all of that out there to set some context and get your mind in the right place before we head into the action steps. So coming back from that tangent, I'm going to work through what navigating out of disengagement might look like, whilst also considering the huge amount of change going on around you. So what does engagement look and feel like? We've talked about what a disengagement might feel like. We need to understand what we're aiming for with engagement. So number one, alignment with the company mission and goals. So here you're going to see your work as meaningful and connected to something larger than yourself. So when you understand and align with company values, and this is why it's important to know the values of the company before you accept a job with them, you experience greater job satisfaction. And also you're way more likely to stay in that organisation. And the interesting thing is that this alignment creates intrinsic motivation. So it's an internal motivation, something that drives you, drives your purpose rather than just external rewards like salary and work lunches and bonuses. And this leads to much higher quality of work and innovation. So if this is where you identified that this might have been a bit broken for you and causing some disengagement, what you can do is you can decide that it's time to either seek a company that better aligns to your values and purpose. And it's totally okay to go, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I don't align with this company. I don't think I can continue working for them anymore. And this is something then you can plan is your exit to somewhere that aligns better with your values and purpose. Or you could also discuss moving to an area within the company where you feel a greater alignment or you can see that link in what you're doing to that purpose and the values of the organisation. Or it could be asking to take on special projects that give you a taste of that as well. Another alternative is to talk to your manager about how your role links to the mission and purpose. Maybe they can help you see that more clearly and provide you with that more explicit and direct link that you're not seeing right now. Number two, great team dynamics. What does this feel like when you have engagement? It feels like collaborative problem solving, mutual support during challenging times, and open communication between you, the people in the team, your leaders or managers. You'll also feel psychologically safe to express your ideas and concerns and provide feedback. And you're more likely to contribute then to innovative solutions and remain committed to team goals. So as far as action steps here, if you felt that this might be something contributing to disengagement, you can decide to be a catalyst for change in this area. However, this can be a hard one for you to influence on your own. It can be deep cultural problems that are causing this, driven either by one person, within the team that you're a part of, or it could be systemic across the organisation. And I'm not saying don't take that on, but changes of this nature can take time to turn around. And it's also something that may require broader support to instigate the change. So you could either find someone that you trust to say, hey, could we work together and try and turn this around and improve the connection and the team dynamics, or even go to people within the organisation that you might be able to talk to about making some changes or improvements. So I don't want to put you off on this one, but it can be a tricky one. Number 3, receiving regular recognition and feedback. So your manager will provide ongoing support and acknowledgement of accomplishments. You'll appreciate that this feedback and recognition is frequent, that it's also really specific, which means you can act on it, and it's timely, so that, they actually recognise something at the time that it happens. And that means that you can use it to improve or adjust, or it simply makes you feel good that you get told that you've done a great job when you actually have done a great job. So this action to turn this around, if this is an absence within your role or the relationship you have with your manager, it requires some proactive discussion. And it's best to sit down with your immediate manager if that's where you're seeking this to come from. And that's a great starting point to just have an open discussion and explain with regular one-on-one catch-ups that involve feedback and suggestions on where you might improve will actually help you to deliver greater value to the team and to the organisation. That receiving that from them will help you grow and develop. So I want you to note that these 3 signs that I've talked about of engagement are opportunities to take action and attempt to achieve greater engagement at work, except a lot of them aren't entirely within your control. So it's important to note that there are things that you can do, but what you're doing is you're relying on others for many of these changes to occur, and you need them to be a willing participant in order for that to happen. So they're grouped into action that you can initiate, but then you need to rely on others to respond. Now, what I want you to do is start paying attention for these next 3 signs, because these next 3 are opportunities to improve your engagement at work. And this is where you can have significant impact on your future, especially with automation and AI about to have sweeping changes across workplaces. Number 4, utilising your natural talents. I touch on talents and strengths in episode 1. So if you want to dive in there, I cover that a little bit more as well. This is about being in a role that enables you to think, act and respond in a way that aligns with your natural talents. So it's enabling you to deliver excellence consistently in your role. It's where you find flow, confidently knowing what to do and delivering high quality outcomes, all whilst feeling energized and engaged. So when you add skills, knowledge and practice to your natural talents, you can turn them into strengths and amplify them infinitely. This is at the heart of my coaching, understanding what your top talents are and then being able to maximize the use of your talents at work. This is where you find that beautiful sweet spot. If you feel your disengagement is focused here because you don't align to the work that you do, then you have an exciting opportunity to make a quantum leap forward. If you're going to initiate discussions about redesigning what your ideal role might look like, and this is one of the actions that you can take with your manager or leader or whoever it is you have these discussions with, then make sure you have these discussions about finding greater alignment and design it with AI and the future of work in mind. So what does this look like if you were to do this? Your secret weapon in the AI era is your innate talents. Now, here's what most people get wrong about the AI revolution. You focus on what AI can do instead of understanding what makes you irreplaceably valuable. At the heart of rediscovering engagement at work and your ability to work collaboratively with AI lies in knowing your unique value and identifying what role in the world of AI you might be exceptional at. So strengths alignment is your career lifeline right now. When you're not using your natural talents at work, you're not just underperforming, you're making yourself vulnerable to AI replacement. But when you understand and leverage your unique talents, you become someone AI can enhance rather than replace. The real AI threat is when your role doesn't align with your talent, or you're likely doing work that could be automated. You become expendable, not because you lack talent, but because you're not in the right position to showcase what makes you irreplaceable. You want to showcase your superpowers. So discovering your AI era strengths is the key to this. So think beyond traditional job descriptions. You need to think differently about what work looks like in the future. In the AI era, your value lies in your unique combination of some significant areas where humans can bring value. That's cognitive patterns, how your brain naturally processes information and makes connections. It's also relationship dynamics, your instinctive approach to influencing, connecting with and inspiring others. It's also your creative expression, your particular way of generating ideas and solving problems, and your execution style. It's your natural rhythm for getting things done and driving results. Humans bring unique skills like creativity, emotional intelligence, and ethical reasoning, while AI excels in areas like data processing, pattern recognition, and repetitive tasks. Humans have a competitive edge in connecting with customers through empathy, applying creativity to shape and use AI-driven ideas, and developing the tasks of the future. So it's really important to recognise your role isn't to compete with AI. It's to find the sweet spot where your natural strengths amplify AI's capabilities and vice versa. It's about creating a strengths and AI collaboration map. So if you're naturally analytical, you'd then partner with AI for data processing while you focus on insight interpretation and strategic implications. If you're relationship focused, you'll use AI for research and preparation while you handle the human connection, negotiation, and trust building. If you're creatively driven, let AI handle initial research and data gathering while you focus on innovative applications and breakthrough thinking. And then if you're execution orientated, you'll use AI for planning and optimization while you drive implementation and navigate the human complexities of change. So you can see there how we've combined what your strengths might be in collaboration with what AI can bring to strengthen those. All of this can easily be mapped out if you know what your strengths are. You first need to know what you lead with. Is it analytical? Is it relationship-based? Is it creativity? Or is it execution-orientated? And these are the areas of your superpowers where we can focus. When used effectively, AI technologies can save so much time, and we already know that. They can increase revenue and cut costs. And they can also free up resources to focus on what humans do best. So we need to know what you can do best. So you need to paint a picture of this for somebody. This is what I do really well, and this is how AI will help collaborate with me to bring my greatest value to the organisation every day. These are the kind of conversations that need to be happening in the future. So that was number 4. We'll move on to number 5, which was proactive professional development. So once your basic needs are met and you know how to do your job, you're provided advancement and skill building opportunities. So your organisation will actually invest in training, career advancement opportunities, and demonstrate their long-term investment in you. So that's what it feels like when you've got proactive professional development. So your action here is that once you've created a strengths and AI collaboration map, you have an artifact to initiate discussions with your manager or HR or whoever you need to liaise with to plan a professional development for you. You can sit with them and proactively paint a picture of how you can collaborate with AI in the new workplace that's emerging. So you bring the ideas, you bring the enthusiasm and the engagement with what the future of your role could look like. Now, if you've decided, back at point 1 that you need to leave the organisation that you're at, this isn't irrelevant. You can still map all of this out to talk to someone in an interview or in your future organisation about how this can happen. And then finally, number 6 is the clear expectations of your role. So when this is working really well and you feel really engaged, you have absolute clarity around the expectations of your role. and also the availability of all the resources you need to do your job. You can perform it effectively and you feel really confident in the contributions that you're able to make. You also have a clear understanding of how your role contributes to the larger organisational goals and also what success looks like for you in your role. And how you'll be measured in that success is really clear. So all of this clarity reduces anxiety and also increases your autonomy. So if we're looking at action steps here, this is one of the elements in engagement that could get a bit wobbly in the next few years. As AI starts to creep in and integrate with roles, it's going to become really unclear what you do and what AI does and the new boundaries of your role. So as organisations strive to determine how AI fits into the workplace, departments and individual roles, you might feel a little bit lost around the expectations in your roles. If you engage early and proactively in discussions about the use of AI in your role, your team or your department, you may create an opportunity to start redefining the expectations of your role and how your area works. Roles will change. It's inevitable. So the boundaries need to be clear around what part of your role will utilise AI and what will be human-led. What value do you bring and what value does AI provide? So volunteer to be a part of these discussions. Start to engage with the organisation or your manager. If there's a working group that's looking into this, put your hand up. Volunteer to be a part of the redefinition and the future and what it looks like. You don't want to sit back and wait to be told. So are you going to let AI happen to you? Or will you allow it to happen for you? At this stage, it's your choice. This shift from AI anxiety to AI fluency doesn't come from chasing the latest tools. It starts by building a future-ready mindset. Most of us have some form of resistance, so do a little bit of self-reflection and work out what your resistance is. It could be values-based, that you don't believe that technology should be doing what humans have done. It could be just a fear of change and the speed of change, or just technology itself. If it stems from a fear of the technology, you're focusing on the wrong thing. It's your mindset that needs to be adjusted. So be adaptable, open-minded, and help solve the problem of how humans collaborate with AI. I think you can bring more value to this discussion than you think you can. So the good news? If you believe you are one of the 79% of workers that is disengaged, disengagement isn't something that happens to you. It's something you can actively influence and turn around. The key to thriving alongside AI isn't about competing with it. It's about understanding your unique human value and how to amplify it through AI. Rather than resisting the change or passively waiting for it to happen to you, you can actively engage with AI developments. Accept that this transformation is happening and activate your human capabilities in partnership with AI and release outdated ways of working that no longer serve you. All of these stats around disengagement at work used to be just data to me until I lived it. Then it became very real and impacted my life both mentally and physically through stress. If you do believe you're disengaged at work, there is a way out of it. The question isn't whether AI will change your job. It's whether you'll be an active participant in shaping that change. Will you let disengagement and fear of change dictate your professional future? Your engagement isn't just about feeling good at work. It's about positioning yourself as irreplaceable in a world where adaptability has become the ultimate career asset. Thank you for joining me today on the Inkling Effect. If you want more of me in your life, then please subscribe or follow the Inkling Effect before leaving. If something in this episode resonated with you, I'd love to continue the conversation. So head over to theinklingeffect.com and find out all the ways that I can support you to make your career inkling a reality. If you know someone who needs to hear what we talked about today, please share this episode with them. I'd love to help guide them towards career clarity as well. Now for the disclaimer. The content of this podcast or video is for informational and educational purposes only. While we aim to share insights, strategies and tools that can support your career or personal growth, We make no guarantees about your results, earnings, or life satisfaction. Success depends on many individual factors, including your skills, effort, dedication, and personal circumstances. This is not professional advice. The information provided does not replace the guidance of trained professionals in fields such as financial, medical, psychological, or legal matters. You acknowledge and agree that we are not financial advisors or lawyers, and we strongly recommend that you obtain independent professional financial or legal advice before you make decisions or take steps as a result of the content in this recording. We are also not medical doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, qualified social workers, or counsellors. We strongly recommend that you obtain independent professional health advice before you make decisions or take steps that rely on any mindset, health, or medical information we may provide. For example, do not use any mindset guidance or health information to treat any medical disorder or disease. Always consult with the appropriate expert before making significant decisions. You are solely responsible for your decisions, actions, and outcomes. And by listening to this podcast or watching this video, you agree not to hold us liable for any actions or outcomes that are to follow.